Welcome back to another English online session. I hope you all fine. Today I am going to explain you the uses of prepositions. This is the third video. I hope you have seen the first two videos. In the first video I have explained to you to place correctly the prepositions before the words indicate time, preposition of time. And in the second video I have explained you the prepositions of place and direction. The prepositions are at, in, on. Such prepositions, what are the differences and how to place it correctly in a sentence. Everything I have explained you in the first two videos. In this particular video I am going to explain about the prepositions of positions. A set of prepositions comes under this category. To know more about these prepositions, watch the video carefully. How to use this properly without grammatical errors. Which preposition should be used in the sentence. With examples I'm going to explain you, so watch carefully. Okay, now let's see these prepositions one by one. The first one is under. Under is used to indicate a position that is below or beneath something. It means vertically below. So this is the word you must stress. Vertically below. Something is vertically below something. Look at the example. The dog was under the table. So straight below the table. He looked under the bed. They took shelter under the trees. The water flows under the bridge. The point you have to keep in mind, if something is placed below or beneath something, especially vertically below something, that before mentioning that place you have to use the preposition under. For example, the dog was under the table, vertically below the table. In such cases you have to use the preposition under before mentioning the place. The next preposition is underneath. Underneath has the same meaning as under. It means a position below something. Underneath, but you have to keep one thing in your mind while using this under and underneath. There is a difference, that underneath generally implies covered by something, so that the object covered is not seen. So the object is just below something and also it is covered. So in such situations you have to use underneath instead of under. Let's see some examples. She found a lot of dust underneath the carpet. When she just removed the carpet, she has found the dust. The coin rolled under the table. It is not visible now. He hid the gun underneath the bed. So it is not visible. It is covered by the bed. Finally, he left the key underneath the mat. So when you use underneath, you have to keep one thing in your mind. It has the same meaning of under, but the object which was below something, that is covered, not seen. That's the difference. The next two prepositions are below and beneath. Below means in a position lower than something. For example, they could see the village below them. There is no necessary the place should come just under the position. It is just lower than something. Okay, imagine that you are standing on a mountain and you are looking at a place just below that, and you are saying this, or the people, they could see the village below them. So there is no necessity to come just directly under the place or in the position. The lake is 3000 feet below the sea level. You should write below this line. So these are the examples for below. Let's see beneath. Beneath also means a lower position than something. Beneath has the sense of directly under something. Let me give you two examples to understand this preposition. The first one is they found the body beneath a pile of grass. The second one is the boat sunk beneath the waves. These two examples shows that it has the same meaning of below, but one thing you have to keep in mind, this word used to show that something is placed directly under something. This is the only slight difference between below and beneath. I hope you understood the difference. There is only a slight difference between the usage of below and beneath. Beneath means directly under something. Below means it may be just below, it should not be directly under the position. It means lower than something. The position is lower than something. The next preposition is over. Over is used to indicate a position vertically above something or somebody, or partly or completely covering the surface of something. So you have to keep this in your mind, that partly or completely covering the surface of something. It has the same meaning of above. The word over has the same meaning of above. The difference is this over, if you want to use over, the thing partly or completely covered the surface. Okay, let's see some examples. There were books all over the table. The surface of the table is covered by a lot of books. That's why over is used here. And the second one is they held a large umbrella over her. So over, that surface is covered by an umbrella. And the third one is there was a lamp hanging over the table. The above the table, that space is covered by a lamp. So one more time I am going to tell you, you have to remember one thing. If you want to use over, it means vertically above something or somebody, as the same meaning of above. But the thing you have to keep in mind, partly or completely covered the surface. In such cases, you have to use the preposition over. The next preposition is above. I have already told you about above. Above is used to indicate a position higher than something. Above has the sense of something being directly over something else. So it has the meaning that directly over something else. Let's see a few examples. There were clouds above us. The water came above our knees. The pilot was flying above the clouds. The birds were flying high above the trees. We lived in the room above the shop. So it has the same meaning of over, but above simply means something is higher than something, a position higher than something. But over means not only it comes directly above something, but it covers the surface of something. So in such cases you can use over. And simply if something you would like to mention above something, you can use the preposition above. Now let's see a few prepositions indicates travel and movement. The first one is across. Across is used to indicate movement from one side of a space area line to the other side. So one point to other point. Let's see a few examples. The first one is I walked across the road. So crossing. The second one is the cat ran across the lawn. The third one is they flew across the Pacific. He walked across the street. So one thing you have to keep in mind that across indicates movement from one side of a space, area or line to the other side, from one side to other side. If you are mentioning the movement of something from one side to other side, you have to use the preposition across. The next one is into. Into is used to indicate movement inside a place seen as a volume. The opposite of into is out of. We have already learned that preposition out of. It is used for entering a place, building or vehicle. Let's see a few examples of the preposition into. The boys came into the hall, so which means they entered into a place or a space. She ran into the house. She went inside the house. He got into a bus, a train or place or car, any space. And the last example is the athletes marched into the stadium. So getting into something. In such cases, you can use the preposition into. The next preposition is through. Through is used to indicate movement from one end of an opening or a passage to the other. The place is seen as a volume. Example, the train passed through a tunnel. So both ends it has opening. The water flows through this pipe. They were riding through a forest. The ball went flying through the windows. So an entering place, also exiting. Here in such cases you can use the preposition through. The next prepositions are by and beside. By means close to someone or something. We can even say the meaning nearby. And besides means by the side of someone, left or right side. So this is the difference. By means near, nearby, or besides means next to. Okay, that's the meaning. Both implies nearness. Both prepositions indicates nearness. Let's see some examples. She was sitting by the door. So near by the door. There is a glass just by your elbow. Nearby your elbow. The telephone is by the window. So all these examples say that the object is nearby. Let's see some example for beside. She was sitting beside her mother. So next to, right or left side. He always kept a dictionary beside him, who is standing beside Kumar. So in these two examples we can understand that someone is next to. Okay, left or right, it mentioned the side. Okay, by indicates the nearby place, but beside indicates next, very next to the object. The next two prepositions are between and among. Between is used with two persons or things. Among is used with more than two people or things. Let's see a few examples. Between you and me, she is very stupid. She divided the apples between the two children. C comes between B and D. Samesh sat between Mahesh and Ramesh. If you see all these examples, it indicates two people, in between two people. Let's see a few examples for among. He lives in a house among the trees, more than two. She divided the money among her four sons. The final example is Sadish works among the poor. So more than two means you can use the preposition among if you mention two objects or two people. You can use the preposition between. And another thing you have to keep in mind, but if each individual person is mentioned, between is used even if there are more than two. So each and every person mentioned by their name, you can use between even if you mention more than two. Let's see an example to understand this rule. The money was divided up between Mohan, Sohan and Rohan. If you look at this sentence, all three people, the name of all the three people mentioned here, specifically mentioned here. So we can use between in such cases. The next rule you have to keep in mind that if the people are mentioned as a single group, among is used. If these people are mentioned as single group, you can use among. For example, I shared out the food among the family. The girl quickly disappeared among the crowd. Here in these two examples, the people are mentioned as a single group, like the word family and crowd. Okay, with these three videos, I have discussed a set of prepositions, frequently used prepositions. I hope you understood these prepositions and their usages. See you in the next class with another topic. Bye.